as well as in Shillong, where the incident that took place in Shillong, certain individuals were also injured. After the incidents that took place in East Jaintia Hills, inquiry had started into individuals who were involved in this, and the police had made all-out efforts to find the people involved and take appropriate steps to ensure that these don't happen in the future. But in the process, many people were arrested. And while that happened, again on 10th of August, we had an incident in Laimukra, in a very, very busy market area or locality, where a blast took place. After the blast took place, the police had intensified the investigations that were taking place. After going into a large amount of information and doing detailed investigation, the police had found credible and tangible evidence of involvement of large number of people, including the individual who died a few days back. Based on this credible information, the police had made their strategy on how to move forward. In the meantime, from multiple agencies, we received credible information that another attempt was going to be made in the next few days in Shillong. And this is not just our agencies, but other agencies also. Once those agencies and our own information and intel gave us the threat of another attempt, which would then definitely risk the lives of the citizens of our state, the police decided to move swiftly in order to ensure that no other incidents take place in Shillong or any other part of the state. And in the process, they moved forward to make an arrest. It was never the intention of the police to harm any individual. But in the process, if the arrest was made, it would rather be in the interest of the police department, as they would be able to get more credible information on other networks that possibly are there. But as you're aware, that the circumstances led to the unfortunate incident that happened a few days back. The SP has submitted the report, which is as per mandated by the National Human Rights Commission, within 48 hours. After this report is submitted, there will be a magisterial inquiry, which also is under process, and that report will be submitted. And based on that, the National Human Rights Commission will look into the matter and inquire the matter. I felt that it is important at this point in time that we appeal to everybody that at this point in time, we must maintain peace in Shillong city and in the state as a whole. Whatever the police or whatever the government is doing is in the interest of the safety of the citizens of the state. And therefore, once again, I appeal to everybody that we must maintain law and order and we must maintain peace in the state and in Shillong city. The National Human Rights Commission is an independent and autonomous body, and the reports and the inquiry that we submit are only the facts that we submit to them. So the National Human Rights Commission is the appropriate body to look into this, and they are very much autonomous. Once they submit their report, we can decide on how to move forward. But the procedure requires us to submit the reports to the National Human Rights Commission. There was no particular lapse as such. As I said, these are situations that are there, and what happened was unfortunate. But the intention, as I said, was to clearly arrest and the person involved, and because that would then lead to more information that would have come in. So it would be in the interest of the police and the agencies. So therefore, there was no intention in that line, and it was clearly, so therefore that's what happened. All I can say is that in investigations like these, timing is important. If the leads are broken before the actual information comes out, then you don't get the desired result that you're looking at. So without going further into details of that, that timing was critical for us. So therefore the police made a decision based on that to watch the movements and then gather more evidence and information. That's all I can say. It would not be appropriate, as I said, to go further into details. But then when the credible information came that on a certain date, in a certain location, there would be another blast, that is when the police had to swiftly move to avoid the second incident in Shillong. That's a tactical move which the police have done. It's something that it will not be possible for me to go into the tactical side of how the police would operate, because as I said, they have their own way of moving forward. So that's not something that we normally interfere or go into all those aspects. But as I said, the intention was very clear, was to arrest because of the evidences and the threat that was there to the people. See, when we keep the overall agenda in front of us to ensure that our people are safe, we do it with the utmost sincerity and commitment. And as I said, in the process, it is never the intention of the government to, or the police, to just simply harm anybody. But as I said, that the intention was very clear in this, but it's unfortunate that it led to the incident that happened. But the intention was very clear, was to arrest the person. So therefore, this incident is something that, I've been repeating again, is unfortunate, but it's something that happened in a situation, in the circumstances that were there. But the effort of the government and of the police will continue to ensure that anybody who tries to disrupt the peace of this thing, we will have to move forward, and the police will have to work out on how we can stop that. So therefore, the police has always been working with the intention of keeping our public and the people at large in the state safe. So that's what it was. But while we do that, the police always makes sure that nobody is harmed unintentionally. So that has always been the way the police works, and we as a government also have endorsed that, and that's how we would like to move forward in any situation.
What is the stand of the government on this?
We have maintained from day one that that Meghalaya government also wants peace and is open to talks with any of the organizations that would like to come and talk to us. But we have always maintained that it must be within the constitutional framework of the country. They must shun violence, and it must be an unconditional talk. So therefore, one cannot come forward, with conditions to the talks. So when we talk, we can discuss things, but before you come to the talks itself, if you come with conditions, then that is something that is not acceptable. So we are agreeable, but as I said, must shun violence, must come without conditions and must be within the framework of the constitution of the country. So that's our stand, and that's still our stand, right? Yes, we had received a letter. I don't have the exact date with me. 16 of January 21. So you knew it, but anyway. So we have received. After the letter was received, we have discussed multiple times within the government, within Meghalaya government about the letter. And without naming individuals, even in Government of India level, 2 discussions took place at official level. 2 discussions took place with Government of India also regarding the letter that was sent by the HNLC. Based on that, the Government of India has mentioned that some of the conditions that they put in are not acceptable to Government of India, and therefore they must submit another letter without those conditions, and those conditions are the standstill agreement, and second is the instrument of accession. So these 2 should not be there, and this was communicated to them. And after the communication, we were told that they will submit a letter without those conditions and remove all the other conditions and move in the line which we have prescribed, that it should be in the constitutional framework, it should be under without any conditions, and it should be shunning of violence. So all that was discussed. But in the meantime, that letter did not come. And in the meantime, the different incidents started taking place in Jaintia Hills. So therefore, at one side, we were receiving this communication, but at one side, the violence was continuing in Jaintia Hills. So therefore, it was not clear as to what really was the intention at that point in time. So therefore, that is what happened, and that process was on while these incidents that took place.